Hey y'all, Taker here. Today we're reviewing a figure from a franchise that I've yet to have gotten figures for until now, and that is Blue Archive. And the character that's really kicking off our collection is going to be Asagi Mutsuki from Problem Solver 68. This figure was really not on my radar in the beginning. I actually didn't know that Mutsuki even had a figure on the market. I don't feel like there is much hype around her, and I feel like that might be because she is sculpted by Plum. And now Plum is a bit of a controversial figure manufacturer because they're not well known for really good sculpts. Like, usually their paint jobs are off. They sometimes have a lot of quality issues. So they're not when Plum picks up a character, makes a figure of them, I wouldn't say everyone is super excited for it. But maybe because Plum is pretty infamous, her price wasn't really that high on the aftermarket. I will say, Plum did a really fantastic job on her sculpt. And I think that's where we're gonna start for now, since I do have a couple of issues with the figure overall, but let's start with the positive. First of all, her face sculpt is really, really good. I really do love her really mischievous look on her face with her tongue just slightly sticking out. They made sure that the colors of the tongue don't match too much with her skin tone. Her eye decals look fantastic. Overall, they did a fantastic job on her face. I really don't have any complaints on that front. And her outfit is really, really cute. They really captured her character art from the games very well. Like the way her skirt flows, just the wrinkles and details on her school uniform, and down to her boots. We get to kind of a very iffy part of the boots. They don't look as good as they could be, but they're serviceable. I'd say her outfit is well sculpted overall. And her gun is also very well painted, very well sculpted, and I love that they actually kind of used a softer plastic for her hands, so you don't really have to force the gun into her hand. You can kind of just slightly bend the fingers forward and place the gun in her hand, and it feels very stable, and there's no risk of ripping off a finger by placing the gun on. I've done that before with a couple of my figures, and it's heart-wrenching. So I'm glad that Mutsuki has some pretty flexible fingers. I really, really love the peg placement of her halo. The halo is so I always get kind of concerned about the halos that are featured in Blue Archive, because there's no way that they're going to be able to suspend a halo over these characters' head in a natural way. So they're going to have to use pegs. But I just love that at most of the viewing angles that isn't from behind are from Mutsuki's left side. It's hidden by her hair and her hair accessory, her flower that's keeping her ponytail up. So it doesn't really break your immersion, which I'm actually really glad that they went with this figure. And moving on from her hair, the placement of her halo, the bag, her duffel bag she's holding, immaculate. I think that's probably one of the best things on this figure. Yes, there is another peg, and this one is a bit more visible than the halo one, but I feel like it's a necessary evil, because again, the soft plastic that they use for her hands, I wouldn't trust her to be able to hold the bag and not cause some kind of figure damage or paint transfer. So better safe than sorry. Plum really could have phoned it in here, but they actually went the extra mile and created kind of like, I think the base is like a snippet from the actual games where she's standing on like a highway, a road. You can see kind of like the arrows on the concrete and the median line, the divider, the yellow line. It's nice and it's textured too. I mean, it's good. I appreciate the attention to detail that Plum went to with this figure. And that is where my praise ends. It's just the overall painting. The overall painting just feels a bit dull. I don't really see... It's kind of hard to justify the price in my opinion because the figure just feels very flat. Like the painting reminds me more of a prize figure than a scale figure, which is really hard for me to say, especially for a character that in Blue Archive, Mutsuki is one of my favorite characters. So I'm kind of devastated that Plum kind of half-assed it so much, but we can't choose who our characters are sculpted by, and you know, I'm out here trying to support the the Mutsuki fan base. Try to buy the figures that I can of her, because at some point I'd love to have all the figures of Problem Solver 68. I just hope that the rest of them aren't made by Plum. That's my only wish. I want the rest. I want Aru and the rest of the girls to be sculpted by someone else, because I would not want Plum to do the rest of the Blue Archive girls. And with that, thank you very much for joining me on this figure review. If you liked what you saw, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. See ya!